told you to eat, bitch! That's it!
Hey everyone, welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. In today's video, we're diving into the thrilling and twisted world of Yellowjackets Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. If you thought things couldn't get darker or more intense after what happened in Season 2, think again. From shocking revelations to mysterious new twists, these episodes had it all. So grab your snacks and let's break down all the wild moments, insane theories, and shocking cliffhangers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure to leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below as we unpack this chaotic new chapter of Yellowjackets. Spoilers ahead, so let's get into it.
Thaisa, you are very sick.
A haunting game of survival and secrets. We open with a chilling flashback to the wilderness, but it's not what you think. It's not the pit girl scene, but the sight of Mari running through the forest under the echoing primal calls of the other Yellowjackets. It's almost too easy to mistake it for the infamous pit scene from Season 1. She hides behind a tree, her breathing heavy as she glances around nervously, and the tension builds. But when Shauna suddenly jumps out and tackles her to the ground, we realize it's just a game of tag. But of course, it's not your typical game of tag. Shauna, in a move that's as primal as it is shocking, bites Mari's hand. And it's not just a friendly game. There's something dark lingering beneath the surface. The bone they're playing with? Well, let's just say it's not immediately clear whether it's human or animal. This opening sets the tone for the show. Bright and playful on the surface, but simmering with darker undertones. It's summer now, and the girls have built their little commune in the woods after their shelter burned down. Their camp, a series of wooden huts and teepees, reflects the fragile peace they've managed to carve out after the chaos of last season. However, the scars of the past are ever present. The graves of Jackie, Javi, and Shauna's baby remind us of the horrors they've endured and the lengths they've gone to just to survive. The gang gathers for Van's first annual Summer Solstice Festival, a gathering that should be lighthearted, but quickly reveals the cracks in their unity. Van, ever the optimist, gives a speech that praises their survival, calling them sheroes. She even pokes fun at Coach Ben, calling him a homicidal monster after the events from last season. This is clearly a light jab, but it strikes a nerve with Travis, who looks visibly disturbed. Shauna, however, isn't in the mood for celebration. She's still reeling from the death of her best friend Jackie and the loss of her child. Alone in her hut, she writes in her diary, venting her trauma. She's grappling with the weight of their actions in the wilderness, calling it a nightmare they can never escape. But despite the horror, there's an almost apathetic tone to her writing. The reality was that even if rescue came, they can never go home again because of what they've done. In the present day, Shauna and the adult Yellowjackets are dealing with their own baggage. It's the day of Natalie's funeral, and the grief is palpable. At the wake, Shauna, Thaisa, and Van share a drink to mourn the loss of their friend, but there's a heaviness to their reunion. Shauna, in particular, is distant, unsure of how to handle the emotional chaos. Meanwhile, Misty is trying to keep it together, but the guilt over Natalie's death is weighing heavily on her. Walter, ever the well-meaning, if quirky, presence in her life, reminds her of the memorial, but she's too wrapped up in her own self-blame. In a startling moment, Misty receives a key from Walter, who's done some digging and found that Natalie had a storage unit. The implication is clear. Misty needs to make sure Natalie didn't leave anything incriminating behind. While all of this is unfolding, Callie, Shauna's daughter, is still processing the aftermath of the Yellowjackets' dark legacy. She's suspended from school for a stunt where she throws animal blood and guts at some girls who were spreading rumors about the Yellowjackets. The prank, filmed and shared, is a twisted form of rebellion against the whispers surrounding her family. Shauna, ever the concerned mother, tries to keep things calm, but the cracks are starting to show. The episode ends with a mystery package being left for Shauna, and Callie, with her usual curiosity, finds a tape inside. As the camera lingers on her eyes, it's clear she's hiding something that could unravel the fragile peace in the present.
Hey, somebody help! Sir? Sir.
Shadows of the past and the haunting wilderness. The tension continues in episode 2 as we're immediately thrown back into the 90s. Mari, still trapped in the pit, is in agony. Her knee is dislocated, and Coach Ben, whose mobility is compromised, can't help her in the way she needs. Instead, he makes her pop her knee back into place, an excruciating and brutal moment that is as hard to watch as it is necessary for her survival. Back at camp, there's a sense of dread hanging over the girls. Mari's disappearance raises suspicions, and tensions between the group continue to simmer. But Shauna, unsurprisingly, is indifferent. She's consumed by her grief over the loss of her son and, in a shocking move, exhumed his body from the grave she and the others made for him. In a moment of twisted intimacy, she reburies him in a secret spot in the forest, marking her profound isolation from the rest of the group. But it's not all bleak. Lottie and Travis, in a strange moment of bonding, decide to take some psychedelic mushrooms and go on a mind-bending journey through the wilderness. Lottie reveals her struggle with medication back home, explaining that she had been stifled by modern medicine before coming to the wilderness, where she first started experiencing the strange psychic visions. The most unsettling part of this journey is when Travis, high and disoriented, hears what he describes as the trees screaming. It's a disturbing moment, one that echoes the group's growing paranoia about the forces at play in the wilderness. As Lottie and Travis delve deeper into their shared experience, it's clear that something dark and malevolent is stirring around them. In the present timeline, things aren't much better. Lottie, fresh out of a psychiatric ward, shows up at Shauna's house. Her arrival is less a friendly visit and more a reminder of how much has unraveled in the aftermath of their time in the wilderness. Lottie lost everything after the events of Season 2, her commune, her following, and her sense of control. She's adrift and broken, but Shauna can't bring herself to push her away. Callie, sensing the tension, convinces her parents to let Lottie stay the night. It's a bizarre turn of events, as Callie becomes more involved in the world of her mother and her friends. But things only get stranger. Lottie shares a heartfelt conversation with Misty, who's still spiraling from Natalie's death. She tells Misty that they didn't kill Natalie. It was the wilderness that chose, and Misty, in her fragile state, seems to accept this eerie explanation. Meanwhile, Thaisa and Van are also struggling in the present. Van is battling terminal cancer, while Thaisa is dealing with the fallout from her failed political career and the loss of her family. They share a vulnerable, intimate moment, but it's clear that they're both haunted by their past. When they dine and dash from a restaurant, they unwittingly cause the death of the waiter who was chasing them. This dark streak follows them everywhere, even in seemingly innocent moments. Back in the 90s, Nat and Misty continue their search for Mari, but things are only getting stranger. Misty begins to suspect that Coach Ben may be hiding something, especially after discovering one of his squirrel traps. Nat, however, tries to cover for him, and it's clear she's invested in protecting him. And then we return to Ben, who has taken Mari out of the pit and is keeping her captive in his hideout. There's a strange, unsettling intimacy between them, as Ben, who's more and more isolated, gives Mari some hot chocolate from the survival pack. He tells her that he doesn't trust any of the Yellowjackets, and just to make things weirder, starts having an argument with himself, screaming at an invisible figure. Is he losing his grip on reality, or is there something truly haunting him?
Tell anybody about this. I will fucking...
Back to the present, Misty's breakdown continues as she isolates herself from Walter. She continues drinking away her grief and guilt over Natalie's death. At one point, Shauna calls her, asking her to come over for a visit while she and Jeff go out to a business dinner. But when Misty arrives, it's clear she's in no state to offer any help. Meanwhile, Callie's curiosity is piqued as she discovers the mystery tape that was left for Shauna. While Lottie and Misty continue their conversation about the wilderness and its dark power, Callie makes her own decisions about how far she's willing to go to uncover the truth about her mother's past. As Misty passes out from the drink, Callie secretly spiked, things only get stranger. By the end of the episode, the stakes are higher than ever. Shauna's dinner goes horribly wrong when she loses her cool in front of the obnoxious real estate agents, and things escalate further when she receives a mysterious phone call from the restaurant about the phone she handed in. The suspicion that someone is following her grows, and the eerie feeling that the past is catching up with them all becomes undeniable. As we wrap up the episode, the tension between the past and the present is becoming unbearable. The mystery of who left the tape, the identity of the figure following Shauna, and the dark events still to come are only beginning to unfold. With each passing moment, the lines between the wilderness and the real world blur, and the truth is more dangerous than anyone could have imagined.
No! What are you doing, Lottie?
Travis, stop! Travis, stop!
Our nerdy thoughts. And that's a wrap on our breakdown of Yellowjackets Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. This season is definitely ramping up the tension, and we've only just scratched the surface. What do you think is going to happen next? Who's behind the mysterious tape? And what's going on with those creepy visions in the woods? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to hear what you think. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more Yellowjackets deep dives and other breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay wild.
If you didn't even burn the cabin down, then what are you so worried about?